Day 35, verses 44 to 46, when clarity has no place. Namaste and welcome to Gita 360. Krishna takes the idea of the scattered mind one step further. In the previous verses, he showed how the mind gets pulled in different directions. Here, he explains what that does to our inner clarity and why, despite understanding, steadiness still feels out of reach. With their minds deeply attached to worldly pleasures and their minds bewildered by such things, they are unable to possess the resolute determination for success on the path to samadhi or concentration on the divine. When the mind is absorbed in worldly pleasure, success, status, or other material belongings, it loses its ability to remain centered. Our attention keeps moving outward, drawn again and again to what is outwardly desirable, fascinated by the glamour of temporary pleasure. This pull creates a subtle instability. The mind begins to depend on external conditions to feel settled. And because those conditions are always changing, the mind never fully rests. It keeps adjusting to external pleasures, reacting and seeking something more to become happier. The cycle of external validation and pursuit of happiness becomes an endless loop. As a result of this, the steady clarity needed for long-term peace does not materialize. The mind remains engaged and active, but it is not grounded in permanence. It moves constantly but does not settle into stillness. The Vedas deal with the three modes of material nature, O Arjuna. Rise above these to a state of pure spiritual consciousness, freeing yourself from dualities, eternally fixed in truth and without concern for material gain and safety. Be situated in the self. A lot of what we engage with, our thinking, our actions, even our understanding, operate within patterns of duality: gain and loss, pleasure and pain, success and failure. The mind keeps moving between these opposites, constantly seeking something. To move towards steadiness, we must step beyond this constant fluctuation. This does not mean withdrawing from life, but being grounded so that we are not defined by every change that occurs around us. To stay as stable as possible, knowing that all the gain and loss we see are transient in nature. The Gita also points to something deeper. A lot of our mental energy is spent trying to gain what we do not have and hold on to what we already possess. This creates a continuous sense of tension in our body and mind. When this hold begins to loosen, when we decide not to get affected by the outcome of our pursuit, our mind becomes lighter and more stable. What emerges then is a steady clarity, one that is not constantly reacting, but simply aware of what's happening, understanding but not reacting. Whatever purpose is served by a small well of water is naturally served in all respects by a large lake. Similarly, one who realizes the absolute truth also fulfills the purpose of all the Vedas. A well serves a specific need, access to water in a limited manner. But when there is a vast body of water, that same need is met more fully, more easily, and without dependence on a single source. The well is not wrong or unnecessary. It is simply limited in what it can provide. In the same way, the Vedas offer many teachings, practices, and paths. Each of them serves a purpose. They guide and help a person move towards ultimate self-realization. At that stage, they are necessary and meaningful, just as a well is when water is not desperately needed. But when understanding deepens and the absolute truth of humanity is directly realized, the purpose behind all these teachings is already fulfilled. This does not mean the teachings lose their value. It means their role changes. They are no longer something we depend on for direction at every step. Instead, they are understood as pathways that all lead to the same clarity, the same realization. One does not then need to read the Vedas every day because the truth is already in our own selves. In our daily lives, it is easy to feel pulled by multiple expectations at once. We seek comfort, success, security, and recognition, often all at the same time, looking at our family, job, friends, possessions, entertainment, etc. Each of these creates its own pull, and together they create a constant chaos in the mind. Even when we try to stay focused on one thing, something else quickly takes our attention. Watching a movie, we worry about the meal. Working in office, we wonder about the work at home. Over time, this creates a quiet fatigue. The mind remains engaged but does not feel calm. Imagine if we could begin to step back even slightly and question what is truly necessary at that particular time. After all, not every desire needs to be pursued. Not every outcome needs to be secured. Not everything needs our attention all the time. As we mindfully reduce this constant pull, we feel less divided and more centered. It is not that life becomes simpler, but that we are no longer pulled in as many directions at once. That way, we can focus more on the things that truly matter. At home, we can focus on the children more. In office, we can focus better on the assignments we have. At a restaurant, we can enjoy the meal. Everything we do becomes more intentional, more centered. Thought of the day. A mind that is constantly pulled outward rarely finds a space to settle within. Noticing these pulls is a first step towards quieting them. Take a moment to reflect gently. What is currently pulling my attention outward the most? What would it feel like to loosen that pull? Thank you for joining me on Gita 360. May you find a sense of steadiness today by gently reducing what pulls you away from yourself.